Today I took apart a radio. So these are the parts that used to be the radio. Actually, these are the only parts that make it work as a radio. The other stuff is really just to hold it together. And that other stuff is this. I thought this was kind of neat. Had a little springy door opening. And another part that was kind of cool was this one here. Has the switches and stuff like that, the knob, and it holds the battery in the back, has the antenna. The antenna has sort of an odd connection in this radio. And to take these apart, to take the radio apart, I just needed these couple of tools here. Needed safety glasses. I did feel some stuff spring onto my face. A pen to mark some of the parts, a little screwdriver, a bigger screwdriver. This one here would not have been long enough to get the screws out, and I needed a wire cutter once, and I actually used this to kind of break some of the plastic up. As far as things that came out of it, there wasn't much. There was these couple of screws here and some plastic fittings and buttons and that kind of thing. But inside the radio there are some pretty neat things. Obviously a couple of speakers, and connected to the speakers was this little output jack, so you could put another set of headphones on it or you could put another set of speakers on it. These then go over to the amplifier board, which is here. And on the amplifier board, there are some switches. There's a volume switch. This is a potentiometer, variable resistor. This one here is switching between the cassette players and the radio. This here, I believe, controls the record mechanism. And then over here, this is the radio board. There's an FM receiver and an AM receiver. Over here is the power management system, and so this is an AC to DC inverter, and that comes with this plug that connects it to a wall plug. This here and this wire here go to the battery pack in the back. There were 9 D-cell batteries, I believe they were Ds, and they each have 1.5 volts. So, I'm sorry, there were 6 batteries and they have 1.5 volts, so that would bring you up to 9 volts for the whole thing. Also on the amplifier board is this little microphone, which could be used for another project. These switches could be desoldered and used for another project, but really the kind of magic thing to do with this project, I think, would be to take this circuit board, probably minus this cassette player, and probably with this AC inverter and a battery pack, and maybe better speakers than these ones, although these ones aren't too bad, and put it into a new enclosure. This enclosure here is one that I did where I took a set of computer speakers and plugged it in to a little cardboard enclosure. There's the amplifier, a couple of speakers. You get some volume control. This could be done in a lot of different ways. And so this is just cardboard spray painted. And then on the outside this is a cigar box that has a vinyl sticker on it. And so there are lots of neat things you can do with boom boxes, but here's what they look like on the inside. And really the only useful thing that you really need are the speakers, the amplifier board, the radio board. If you want to get input, these recording heads have 3 wires coming off of them, and those 3 wires would correspond to the 3 wires that are in your headphone. This mechanism is a neat one to study because you can push these buttons and it moves the whole thing. And if you want to get it to record, you have to push this lever down and then you push this one. And that gets you into the physical arrangement of recording. It's also pretty neat on this how you can look at the gear trains and you can look at the fact that this one DC motor is enough to run both of these cassette players because they're doing it with rubber bands or belts. These belts tend to wear out. They get oxidized and break. So if one of these goes, that may be why. So this is a pretty neat thing to explore, and I would encourage you to find a boombox and take it apart carefully and see what kind of interesting things you can find.